Kwanzaa. Have a happy Kwanzaa. We gotta light up that kinara. Have a happy Kwanzaa. We'll be flying up in Dara. 7 symbols of this tradition.
Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Anita Fernander. I serve as the Executive Diversity Officer in the School of Medicine here at the University of New Mexico. And I have the pleasure of reading the book, The People Remember by Ibi Zoboi. And The People Remember tells a journey of African descendants in America by connecting their history to the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. It begins in Africa, where people were taken from their homes and families. They spoke different languages and had different customs, yet they were bound and chained together and forced onto ships sailing into an unknown future. Ultimately, all these people had to learn one common language and create a culture that combined their memories of home with new traditions that enabled them to thrive in this land. So the people remember. The people remember when it first happened. It was on a day and on a night during a rainy season and a dry season, while celebrating a wedding and embracing a new baby, while sending a loved one into the arms of the ancestors, and while welcoming a stranger into the warmth of the village. The people remember that it first happened during a time of war. The Ashanti and the Fulani, the Empire of Mali, the Hausa and Igbo, as well as the Congo, the Yoruba and Akan, the Empire of Songhai, the Kingdom of Dahomey, the Mende and the Fon, and are where the people used to call home. While telling stories under the star-speckled sky about memories of the ancestors watching from way up high, the people remember that it was an uncle and a father, a daughter and a cousin, an entire family and a whole village that vanished under that great big African sun. The chiefs and the kings, the betrayers and traitors for gold, copper, and iron, sold the people in this time of war. The people remember the ropes that bound them on wrists and ankles. They walked to the shore for days and nights through tears and shouts. The people remember this was a time of war. The men with the guns, skinned like a pale sun, the men with the whips, the men on the ships, watched the people leave their land, never to return, as their bare feet left footprints in the sand. There, in the bellies of rocking boats, they curled their bodies, singing and praying to faraway gods who maybe, just maybe, could help them fly, could help them float. Some stayed, some jumped, thinking that home was somewhere deep beneath the wide ocean, and maybe, just maybe, she was their mother. Mama Wada, they called her. They landed on the shores of South Carolina and Virginia, Hispaniola and Brazil. Some met their new masters, while others escaped toward the hills. In search of freedom, the Hausa and Fulani, Mende and Fon found a common language, a new word for home in the land of the free, home of the brave. If only this new God was one who saves the people from the fields of cotton and sugarcane under that great big American sun. The Ashanti and the Fulani, the Empire of Mali, the Hausa and Igbo, as well as the Congo, the Yoruba and Akan, the Empire of Songhai, the Kingdom of Dahomey, the Mende and the Fon. People remember they were now all one Umoja is the first of the Kwanzaa principles, which represents unity, to arrive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. The people remember when they did not have their own bodies, their own thoughts, their own time, when the days were long and the sun was hot, when the babies were born and taken from their mothers, when the sons left their families and the fathers were sold away, when the tears turned into rivers and the shouts turned into music, when the North Star was freedom and Harriet Tubman led the way, when Nat Turner demanded that the people rise up, when that other time of war divided North from South. The people fought for land, for freedom, for tomorrow unknown. The people remember that like rising and setting sun, the winds turning from cool to warm, they can change a time, a today, a tomorrow, but never the past. The people remember that they have power to change this nation. The second principle of Kwanzaa, kujichagulia, self-determination. To define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. Then a new day came, and the people were free. The chains had been broken, and they could now run to faraway fields towards skies, towards sun, toward each other, toward lost ones, and toward fathers and mothers, from Mississippi to Chicago, Georgia to New York, from Alabama to California, Louisiana, Canada. The people remember that migration to new lands, to new borders, where sharecropping hands were now factoring machine fingers. That people toiled and labored, working the roads, the houses, the skyscraping towers, reaching for that great big American sun. In the loud, bustling cities and in the small, quiet towns, the uncles and fathers, daughters and cousins gathered around a small table and on a wide porch, on a tattered couch, and on a vast green lawn to share jokes and stories, tall tales and riddles, to play the dozens and jump the broom, cakewalk and jive, ring shout and Lindy hop, Charleston and jitterbug, their sorrows away. Like waves crashing ashore and raindrops forming a pool, the people held hands and raised their voices in song in churches and mosques, temples, and healing places. The people laid their troubles down like a woven and embroidered rug, a tapestry of memories and sorrow, and a prayer for unknown tomorrow. The people remember that they have a job, they have a duty. The third principle of Kwanzaa, Ujima, which represents collective work and responsibility, to build and maintain our community together and make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and solve them together. The people remember that freedom had a price. With 40 acres and a mule, a bale of cotton, and a bushel of rice, with a silver dollar and a nugget of gold, and all the fruits and vegetables a wooden cart could hold, the people gathered their wealth like raindrops in a storm cloud and plowed the land to sow a farm, purchased wood to build a store, paved the road to establish a town. From Rosewood, Florida, to Greenwood, Oklahoma, from Africatown, Alabama, to Freedom's Village, Virginia, the people carved out a slice of this American pie and had themselves a fine dessert. Sojourner Truth told the people, I sell the shadow to support the substance. Marcus Garvey's Black Star Line brought some of the people back to Africa. This long journey home, a sweet, sweet justice. Madam C.J. Walker became a millionaire when she said to the people, love your hair. Garrett A. Morgan and George Washington Carver invented all the new and different ways the sun could shine, brighter, dim, hot, or cool, like a bountiful farm with finely tilled soil and a well-oiled city with all its traffic lights turned green. The people's wealth grew and grew, and it reigned freedom. The fourth principle of Kwanzaa, Ujamaa, cooperative economics, to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to benefit from their profits together. But the people remember that it happened again and again. It was on a day and on a night during winter, spring, summer, and fall, while celebrating a wedding and embracing a new baby, while sending a loved one to distant shores, fighting that other great big war, and while guarding a home from the unwelcoming presence of white-hooded strangers. The people remember that it happened again and again. From Birmingham to Little Rock, Selma to Memphis, the people grew weary of the low-hanging strange fruit, lynched fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, cut from those mighty tree branches that were like the arms of ancestors, like the ships, like the ocean, like the land itself, holding, bearing, and protecting. The people remember all those strange, bittersweet fruit whose seeds were buried deep beneath the earth to sprout, to bloom, and to return home soon. There on the streets with picket signs, arm in arm, the people marched to lift every voice and sang the songs of a low swing, sweet chariot. Dr. King gathered the people on that great big lawn near that mighty White House and shouted his dream out to the sun where it could be heard even from the depths of the great wide sea. Change filled the air when the people stood one behind the other on lines as long as history to cast their vote, this precious note placed on ballots. There on the sidewalks of Harlem, the Mecca of hope, Malcolm X stood atop his great wooden soapbox and told the people to remember, by any means necessary, lest they grow more and more weary. And the brothers and sisters with afros as round as the moon and dashikis colorful like rainbows shouted out loud, I'm proud and I'm Black and I'm proud. With raised fists to demand justice, the people remember that they have a purpose. The fifth principle of Kwanzaa, Nia, purpose. To make our collective vocation the building and development of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. Even as Jim Crow's dogs waged war on the people's bodies and fire hoses threatened to wipe them out, the people rose again and again in every city as Martha and the Vandellas sang, dancing in the street. There was a new sound in town, a drum beat rhythm, a bass guitar, a saxophone, and a trombone pumping music, sweet music, out of Detroit, Michigan. Motown told the people to get down, get down. A little boy named Michael danced and sang his way into the people's hearts as he and his four brothers moved like robots, like dancing machines. Aretha, the soul queen, demanded RESPECT and told the people to rock steady as they steady rocked to Jimi Hendrix's electric guitar, and out of the sky fell the stars, a constellation made of Smokey and Stevie, Diana and Nina, whose Negro spirituals became gospel, became rhythm, became blues. As the mothers and fathers sent their sons to yet another war, the people remember. And daisies rain from way up high as rainbows arched across the sky. Marvin Gaye asked what's going on. And the people replied by painting this world with blues deeper than the ocean as they swayed to a new rhythm, a funk, a disco, a hip hop born out of jazz, born out of gumboot dance, born out of djembe drums. There was a new beat on the streets, so Amiri Baraka, Sanchez, Lucille Clifton, Nikki Giovanni, and Maya Angelou put pen to paper and made their words dance. Here was another chance at freedom, at justice, as the people remember that still, like dust, they rise. The poets and storytellers wove together the pieces of fabric handed down to them by Langston, Zora, Richard, and Ralph to make themselves a new patchwork quilt. James, Tony, Alice, and Octavia stitched new stories so that people could remember to go tell it on the mountain. That a girl named Bacola wanted blue eyes, a woman named Silly loved the color purple, and that Dana could travel back in time. But out of the rubble of grays and browns was a bass so loud, a groove so smooth that people had to get down to the ground on gray concrete, on brown cardboard, as the disc jockey scratched the vinyl record, turning the beat upside down and downside up, sideways, backward, and forward. The people rapped the words as they took apart the beat to dance along the jagged breaks. The Bronx was a place to be as the walls and subway trains became canvases for masterpieces. The people remember that the beat is from the heart, and out of the heart comes the finest art. Kwanzaa, principle number 6. Kuomba, creativity. To always do as much as we can, however we can, in order to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than we inherited it. The people's music and dance, art and stories, fashion and poetry cross boundaries and borders, mountains and oceans, valleys and hills, shanty towns and villages. From Tokyo to Johannesburg, Paris to Rio, London to Moscow, the people inspired the world. A new president, Barack Obama, claimed the seat, the most powerful in the land. He demanded change and took a stand with Michelle, Sasha, and Malia by his side. They were their ancestors' dreams, the people's pride. But the people remember that it happens again and again. A boy and his toy. A teenager on the phone. Friends coming home from a party, a girl asking for the right way. Their breath and their light taken in just one shot. But the people still remember that with each rising sun is a new day. With each new year is a new dream, a new seed of hope unearthed, dusted, and polished. The people know that there will be a time of peace. The people will gather the pieces of fabric, cut, torn, shredded, and made unrecognizable by the storms of time, to sew together a tapestry of their stories, one fine quilt, a blanket for their children to keep them warm, protected, and safe. The people remember to always have faith. The 7th and final principle of Kwanzaa, Imani, faith, to believe with all our heart in our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. The people remember.
Let the feast for all begin. Share the honors of Tampico. Raise the glass.